series of Business Studies Chapter 8 Controlling. In this video, we are going to learn about controlling process. By the way, this is OBC online business class. If you still not subscribed, consider it. We also have a WhatsApp and Facebook page. Go and check out, links are given below. Starting with controlling process. Controlling process is a systematic process which involves some steps like setting performance standard, measurement of actual performance, comparison of actual performance with standards, analyzing deviation, taking corrective action. These are the steps. Now, before starting our controlling process, if our videos are helpful and want to watch more exclusive videos, course, join our membership group and become a diamond, gold, silver champion. You'll get a lot of benefits like exclusive videos, full course, live chat, private groups, doubt sessions, notes, personal interaction, and much more. Starting with just $199 per month. You'll find it in YouTube page. Go and check out YouTube page. There will be a join button, so go and join. Let's start. Starting with the step 1, setting performance standard. The very first step in controlling process is setting a performance standard. Standard means criteria. The criteria against which actual performance would be measured. So the standard serves as a benchmark. Standard can be both in quantitative or qualitative. For example, standards set in the term of cost to be incurred, revenue to be generated, profit unit to be produced and sold. They are all quantitative standards. But sometimes standard also set as quantitative terms to improve goodwill and motivate the level of employees. Are the best example for the standard. At the time of setting standards, a manager should set a standard in exact quantitative terms. For instance, reduction of defects from 10 to 5 in every 1,000 pieces by the end of the quarter. But whereas when setting a qualitative standards, managers should define them so that it would make the measurement easier. For example, for improving customer satisfaction in fast food chain, having self-service standard can be set in the term of time taken by the customer to wait for the table and time taken to serve. These can be the differences between can be measured so that it will satisfy the customer. And the main thing, and it's important that standards should be flexible enough to modify whenever we require, because of we'll get some changes in business environment here and then, so it is necessary to make that standards flexible. That's why standard need modification. Moving on to step 2, measurement of actual performance. Once performance standard is set, the next step is measurement of actual performance. Performance should be measured in an objective and reliable manner. There are several techniques for measuring a performance like personal observation, sampling checking, etc. But it's important performance should be measured in the same unit which standards are set, because this will make comparison easier. It is generally believed that the measurement should be done after the task is completed. But in some cases, measurement of work should be done during the performance. Like in assembling task, each part should be checked before assembling. In the same way, in manufacturing plant, level of gas particles in the air are constantly monitored for the safety purpose. Measurement of performance of an employee may require preparation of performance report by a superior. Efficiency of production may be measured by counting the number of pieces produced and number of pieces defects in batch. Usually, in small organization, each piece produced may be checked to ensure that it is conformed to quality specification. But however, this might not be possible in large organization. Because of that, certain pieces are checked at randomly for quality. This is known as random sampling. Moving on to step 3. Comparing actual performance with standard. This step is quite simple. It's just compare actual performance with standard. This comparison will reveal the deviation between actual and desired result, and that makes comparison. When standards are set in quantitative term, for example, performance of worker in term of unit produced in a week can be easily measured against the standard output for a week. This is how organization compare the actual performance and standard. Moving on to the next step, analyzing the deviation. Usually some amount of deviation in activity is quite normal. That's why it's important to fix acceptable range of deviation, because you can't go through a fixed standard, and also deviation is a key area of the business. That's why they need to give attention urgently in certain significance areas. That's why critical point control and management by expectation should be used by the manager in regarding. This time they will use these kind of methods. So we'll look one by one. Critical point method. It's never been economical and never been easy to check each and every batch and activities. Therefore, focusing on key result area we call as KRAs, which are critical to the success of organization. These KRAs are set in critical points If anything goes wrong in critical point, the entire organization suffers. For example, in a manufacturing organization, an increase in 5% of labor cost may bring more trouble than 15% increase in postal charges. That's why management use critical point, some particular significance or important key points. In that we have a second point, that is management by exception. It's often referred to as control by exception. Exception means exemption, like that. It's an important principles of management control based on the belief that an attempt to control everything but result in controlling nothing. Because of that, it only highlights noticeable deviation which will be beyond the permissible limit. Thus, if the organization said 2% increase in labor cost is an acceptable exemption limit, it will not bring notice if it is below 2% or 2. It will only bring notice only when the labor cost go beyond the 2%. That time it will bring notice to the management. However, in the case of major deviation, management will take immediate action as a priority basis after identifying the deviation. This deviation need to be analyzed for their causes. Always deviations have multiple causes. In that, majority from unrealistic standards set by the management, deficit process, inadequate of resource, structural backwards, organizational limits, and environmental factor beyond control of organization. It is necessary to identify the exact causes of deviation, otherwise a proper corrective action may not be possible to take. The deviation of these causes are reported and corrective action should be taken at suitable level. Moving on to the next, the final step in the controlling process is taking corrective action. No corrective actions is required when the deviations are within the acceptable limit, but whenever the deviation go beyond the acceptable range, especially in the important area, it demands immediate managerial attention so that deviation do not occur again and standards are accomplished. Like sometime, if production target could not be met, corrective action will be taken, like training an employees, like that. If important project is running late, in this case, corrective action is assigning additional worker. In case managerial action failed to correct the deviation, in this kind of situation, the standard has to be revised. That's it for this video. If you like this video, hit like, share with your friends. Like always, see you in the next series. Bye.